Hopefully that camera will work.
Hi, hello, hey, and welcome to this episode of Rush Vibes. We are your hosts, Jess and Dave Rushing, and we are here to catch a vibe and rush with it.
Nice intro.
I'm just
I'm
trying.
not used to you referring to me as Dave.
Maybe I'll start.
First time for everything, I guess.
It doesn't roll off the tongue for me.
No.
Dave.
Dave, yeah, you don't strike me as a Daver. Somebody who calls somebody Dave.
We've literally had friends named Dave, and I've called them Dave.
No, you've called him David.
No? Your boy, I called him Dave.
I don't have a boy.
Okay. Anyway, hi everyone. We're back. It's been a while. Decent amount of time, but here we are to run it back with our Vibe Tribe.
Official Run It Back merch.
No,
Not a sponsor.
not a sponsor. But prayerfully, we'll get to the position where we can.
No, I mean, they're not a sponsor of us.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't be.
No, they shouldn't. They're
They're a
nonprofit.
nonprofit.
But
So,
prayerfully, we might get to a position where we can put them in position to get sponsored.
yes.
But they're not a sponsor.
No.
But they love us and we love them.
Yes. They actually love you because I paid for mine.
Oh.
Yours was a
So they're
yours was
sponsoring me.
yours and the kids was thrown in.
Oh.
I had to pay for mine. But it's okay.
They're my sponsor.
I respect it. I absolutely respect it.
What can I say? So we're back
Here we are.
on Monday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day,
January 20th.
January 20th.
2025, the year of our Lord.
Mm-hmm.
As Kamala, anytime she would, during the campaign trail, anytime she'd say 2024, she'd say the year of our Lord. So,
All right, Clark Kent.
Oh, my glasses. Oh, yeah. I don't think I've ever, no, last time I wore glasses, they were the funky ones that we got that lit up and you made me take them off. You remember that episode? They're one of the kids' glasses. They're not actually.
Oh, yeah, vaguely.
I think it was after we got back from Vegas.
Which we're headed to soon.
No, it was the Caribbean.
Which we're also headed to soon.
But yeah, we are absolutely headed back to Vegas. I think it was your mom had asked me. She was like, "Are you excited about going on a trip?" No, it wasn't your mom. It was my boss. Had asked me if I was excited to go to Vegas. I was like, I've been to Vegas. This would be like my third time in Vegas in like 18 months. So I've kind of seen it all.
Mm-hmm.
Strip club, strip, casinos, cigar lounge,
Restaurants,
rooftop parties.
Yeah.
No khakis, no slacks.
No slacks.
No slacks allowed.
Basketball players.
So I'm not, NBA players. So I'm not really, it's not much I haven't done. I've sweated a lot.
We walked to a restaurant in Vegas in
2 blocks in
July,
almost melted.
but we survived. It wasn't that bad. But yeah, we're headed back. All right, what you got?
I mean, we've been away, so I figured we just talk about what we've been doing.
We've been doing a lot. We should have set a mood board
A mood board.
so that we could track
everything.
what all we've done.
Well, the last episode, one of the last 2 episodes, I think you detailed the fact that you had, or am I misremembering? Your promotion. Did you get your promotion right around the time we last recorded?
When did we last record? No,
Like 4 months ago.
I had already gotten it, but I don't know if I detailed it in that one or the episode before.
Oh. Well, how's it going?
It's going.
Yeah.
It's stressful. It's a lot of long days. It's a lot of work. It's stressing my mental muscles in a capacity that I have not had ever as a professional. But I would not change it for anything. I don't know. I recently been tasked with an added responsibility. I was voluntold with an added responsibility that initially was really annoying me, just in terms of how I had to work with some other people, and just based on my work style. And I'm sure you can tell I'm not very aggressive, like in the workplace. Like I'm not cutthroat or anything like that. So I was actually having a moment of like, why has this been tasked to me? And then I feel like I heard the Lord be like, what if this task that is annoying and getting in your way and you don't understand why you're doing it, what if it's to prepare you for something you're going to need to know how to do? And it just kind of changed my perspective on, I mean, I'm still annoyed. I'm very much so annoyed. This is not, it didn't change that. And I still have to like work with an element of professionalism and humility, but still like don't stunt on my gangster, a lowercase g. But I'm also going into it as there's a learning opportunity, because it's also something I haven't done before. And if there ever becomes an opportunity where I have to do it solo, I now have an expertise that I didn't have previously. So again, emphasizing, I'm still annoyed. I'm still having to like overcome some challenges there, but I'm approaching it with that perspective of what can I learn from this to be able to apply later.
That's good. It's a lot of growth.
It is.
Proud of you.
Thanks.
Do me a favor. Can you pull your mic just a little bit closer to you?
Nope.
Okay. Cool. Well, if you all can't hear Jessica, it's because I asked her to pull her mic closer and she refused. So
This is growth and professionalism, not personal life.
This is the this will then be the Yo Rush podcast. I'm officially going by my handle now. So when you need me to take the trash out, don't say David. Say Yo Rush.
I know what I'm going to say.
I need you to take
it's not going to be Yo Rush. It's not going to be David.
I need you to take the trash out. And I'll be like, certainly. Jess Rush.
Somebody sent you an email and it referred to you as Rush. And I was like, so this is where we are.
Someone sent me an email that said Rush?
Not, it was
one of my personal emails. Oh, yeah.
Like, I tried to call you Rush and you were like, no.
Yeah, you can't call me Rush.
Yes, I can. I can call you whatever the heck I want.
You call me David.
Dave.
That sounds so disgusting.
It doesn't even feel right.
No, it doesn't.
It's not sexy at all. Dave is such a... Dave.
So I'm wearing my new Meta Ray-Ban glasses that Jessica bought me for Christmas.
Regrettably.
As
I was buying them, I'm like, these are going to drive me nuts.
Why?
Because just you and tech drive me nuts. So I knew that's the thing with our relationship. I know the things that you love, but the things that you love drive me crazy. But sometimes I want to see you happy, so I'll buy them for you.
Sometimes. Well, I'm not blessed.
So I was buying them, like, he's going to drive me nuts. Like, I already know I'm going to be so sick of these things already, but
I don't even do anything. I just wear them because they're transitions, so they double as.
Yeah, but they're just weird.
Why are they weird?
Like the circles on the side.
The cameras?
Yeah. But I also haven't done enough.
But you only know they're there because you bought them. Like, I remember when we went to the girls' piano recital, or Solace's piano recital. Well, the girls. Ian couldn't see them until I told him that they were there. And he was like, oh, yeah.
I guess I haven't done enough research to know what all they offer. I just knew you'd wanted them, so I bought them.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you buying them, even though you lacked context.
But I did do that one panel about them, so
that's right. You did do that.
Mm-hmm. But I signed an NDA.
You signed an NDA with Meta, or they had a marketing research firm.
The research firm made me sign an NDA.
Yeah, got you. What was the name of them? Do you remember?
The research firm? I'm not gonna say I signed an NDA.
I thought you signed an NDA for what you discussed, not who the firm is.
Oh, I'm not gonna tell people. I don't want them to go.
Okay. I was gonna see if it's the same research firm that I've been exposed to, but we can talk off camera.
Yeah, we can take this offline.
Offline.
I love saying that. That's really my way of we're not going
to circle back. So yeah, let's take it offline.
Yep. Love saying that in meetings. So what's new with you?
That's a lot. There's a lot been going on. I've had quite a year.
From what point?
From like May until now.
Okay.
So not a year, so maybe like 6 months.
2 quarters, a half.
It's been trying, but it's been great. And then it's been depressing. And then it's been all right. So this is just a weird period. I guess I'll break some news. Most people who know me know this. Most people who are close to me know this.
So like 2 people.
So like 5 people, not counting Jessica and my parents. But I was laid off from my job of basically 10 years in May. And most people would, I would love to be able to say, I didn't see it coming. And the reason why I say that is because it's kind of like the car accident thing, right? Like you would almost rather not know that you're going to get rear-ended because most people have a tendency to tense up. Whereas if it happens and you're not expecting it, then, you may not be as sore or whatever. But the writing was on the wall for a while. And I kind of figured it would happen. My company, I think a couple years ago, they were bought by a private equity group. And for those of you who are business savvy, tend to know what that means when anytime private equity buys a company, they're just going to strip it down, make as much as they can, and then sell it for parts. So part of that strategy just meant a lot of layoffs across the company. The department I worked in was fortunate enough that they weren't hit for a period of time, but then it happened. And my director, my mentor who hired me, he got laid off. And once I knew that happened, I figured my days were numbered. So, I know we had discussed it a few times, and I said, hey, I think this is probably going to happen, and soon. And then one morning in May, it happened. And then I wasn't part of the company anymore that I'd really like grown up as a professional in. Like I hadn't really had a big boy job before I got started with that company in 2014. So been unemployed.
I know.
I've been out of work since May. And it was very, I don't know how to describe it. It was just a very, very trying time. At first it was like, oh, I'm okay because I got some severance. Like I'm good. And you were really intentional about telling me just to kind of relax. And I was like, oh, I don't have to deal with the stress anymore and blah, 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 blah. I don't have to work with people I don't like anymore and don't have to deal with the new, once my boss got laid off, I had to work under another boss who
was different.
Was different. And fake. And it's just something about when you lay somebody off, like, and you don't really have any sort of like sympathy. And maybe it's fair because we didn't really have the same relationship. Mm-hmm. Like if my boss who hired me had to lay me off, I'm sure the conversation would have gone very differently. But it was just very much like your job's going away. So today's your last day. I was like, oh, okay. But anyways, so it was a bit of a roller coaster of emotions. And then I just kind of hit this point where I realized that I had allowed myself to really, my value and how I perceived myself, I realized I had allowed to become lockstep with my ability to produce income. And once I couldn't do that anymore because I severely underestimated how bad the job market was. I was like, oh, I got a master's, I got a bachelor's, you know what I'm saying?
I thought the same thing.
I got tenure, You know what I'm saying? I got all these positions and I got all these skills. I'll find a job. Job market was like, nah, bro, we full.
No room in the inn.
Job market was like, nah, we good. So, wasn't able to find work as quickly as I thought, and so it just really affected me. And the side effect of that was that it affected me here at home with you and the girls, and mood swings and sulking and restlessness. I'm just in Jessica's office, like walking back and forth. She's like, David, do you need something to do? Like, no,
I got a list.
He's like, no, I'm okay. So it came to a head, and we had to have a conversation, and I told you that I realized how things were impacting me, and I apologized and said that it was my intention to be better. But yeah, it's just so weird going to work every single day for 10 years. I mean, even more than that, because, I worked before I went to college, worked during college, and then you just don't.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe for like a week or two, it feels like maybe just a vacation, because that's usually the longest amount of time someone would take a vacation for, a week, 2 weeks. But then beyond that, it's just like, hey, what do I do? So, I just started taking the girls to school every day, picking them up, taking them to ballet, picking them up, doing stuff around the house as, I felt like doing it. And, basically tried to support Jess as much as I could while she was the breadwinner. And then I had a friend, childhood friend, passed away. What month was that? That was
October.
It's October. So not long ago. And that was rough. We hadn't been as close in recent years. When I ended up going back to Virginia a year ago and we tried to connect, and we weren't able to. And his birthday's in April, so I figured I would touch base with him this April. And then, I got a message early one morning that he had passed away, and it was rough. That was rough, and it just really kind of, it was just like this kind of what made me realize just like how crazy of a year it's been, because even with the job loss and my friend passing away, you and I have been able to travel. Mm-hmm. Well, I've been able to travel with you all the summer while you were working, and we got to meet a lot of NBA Threads folks, and it's just been great, like, to have that freedom to say, okay, David, I'm going to this city. Do you want to come? And being like, yeah, because we had the childcare taken care of. So that's why it was just such a weird time, because I never had so much time freedom before to do the things that I actually just wanted to do. Like, want to go to Vegas? Okay, let's go to Vegas. Let's go to Summer League. Let's go to this rooftop party. Let's go to LA. Like, let's go to Miami.
San Francisco. Phoenix.
Like, been all around the world. Well, all around the United States.
World.
American world, excuse me.
Yeah, we touched almost every major city last year. We just missed out on Chicago.
Yeah. So it's just like,
and Boston.
How do you complain when you've got so much freedom that most people would maybe not die for, but would love to have? And it's just a funny season. But fortunately enough, I was able to find employment. Jessica put a word in for me, and I'm back at work. So 6 months, I think, to the T. May, June, July, August, yeah, 7 months.
It wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't that bad for you.
Why? Because I was working.
Yeah, you didn't have to deal with all the.
I've been unemployed.
Yeah, it was different.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, why was it different? I've been laid off and then I've been unemployed.
It was a different one because we didn't have 3 kids.
One time we had 2.
We didn't have 3 kids, which is why I said 3, because 3 is higher than 2. We didn't have.
The third one was showing up.
We didn't have the mortgage that we have now.
Yeah, we got a rich people mortgage.
And and we ain't rich. And
don't say that. Don't put those type of words into existence. I'm rich.
So the circumstances were different.
Huh. Sounds like you're mansplaining.
No, I'm not mansplaining. I'm saying the circumstances were different because this is a fact.
I'll say this because I don't want him to say something and then I get into a mood. I've been laid off. I worked a job that I wasn't always guaranteed to get a check. So I ended up quitting that job.
I believe they call those scams.
That agency still runs.
It's a legal scam.
Ended up quitting that job thinking, I was pregnant with Savi. I was getting my bachelor's. So I was like, similar to you. I was like, let me have this baby. Like, I'll just take this little window off, have this baby, and then I'll get a job like nothing. You want to know what year that was?
That little window turned into a freaking...
That year was... I quit that job in 2019. That baby showed up the 24th of January, 2020. So none of the expectations I had came to pass. But I remember when I did start working again, my big thing was, man, I had all that time. I don't know that I did everything that I could have done, I wanted to do. I would look at projects around the house like, I want to go through the kids' clothes and, pull out the stuff that I want to save. And it was always like, I'll get to it. And then once you start working again, like, there's no time. And so when he got laid off, my big thing for him was just enjoy it. Like, it's as hard as it may sound. And I think despite, the bouts of, frustration, depression, stress, all of that, thinking about, money and how do we stretch a dollar here and there, I think in comparison to how others, their season of laid offness, unemployment is, I would say you had a good one. Because to your point, I mean, every month, unless you didn't want to come with me somewhere, you were with me somewhere. And I think that's amazing that's how, we had the airline miles to be able to do it. So, hey, I have to go do work here. You want to come with me? Come on. And it makes sense. Like, I'm already gonna be there. You might as well be there too. So I think, I'm sure there's still things. I know there are things that I wish you had taken care of while you were unemployed, but that's me. And I'm sure there are things that you look back and you're like, man, I had 7 months. I should have done this A, B, C, and D. But at the end of the day, I don't know that there's a perfect way to handle your life status being uprooted. But I think like now that you're in this season, it still warrants taking some time to reflect on, making sure you learn something, I guess, is the big thing. I'm a big proponent of making sure that whatever season you're transitioning in and out of, you're learning something from the previous, that you're going into this new one. Like, you're never going to be 100% prepared, but like with a perspective of gratitude, which I already know you have. But just like growth, like there's no point going through a season and not actually growing.
Yeah, no, I've learned quite a bit. One, there was a little bit of taking my job for granted just because I'd been with the company so long and a lot of people knew me, and it wasn't really hard. It was stressful, but it wasn't hard, which is probably the reason why I was there as long and didn't really push myself to try other things or try to move up, because I just reached a place of being content, and it was probably time for me to move on. I don't know that I would have left if they hadn't forced me, because all the benefits that it provided, mm-hmm. and the fact that I knew it had just become second nature to me. Just the job, the people, and whatnot. So I think it was definitely time for that chapter to close. And, we don't always get to move from season to season on our terms. And, or maybe we never do. And you can't ever really know when that chapter or that season has ended until you've kind of established yourself in the next one. And now I would think it's fair to say that I'm in my next chapter. I can look back on that time with a greater appreciation, and I can look at it objectively, and I can see where the lessons are, because there were quite a few of them in there. So yeah, I'm happy to be back at work. Like, my boss is always like, "I'm so sorry. Like, we're gonna get you more challenging." I'm like, "No, this is perfect. I have something to do that doesn't involve matching socks to fold, that doesn't involve blowing leaves or raking leaves. Like, this is perfect. I feel like I'm contributing to something, like helping move toward a company, move towards something, which is, that's something I ever thought I would say. Like, I was at a place where I was just like, you go to a job because I need to make X amount of dollars a month, and this is a way to do it. But I'm actually, like, very proud to be working, and that's quite a deviation from where I was about a year ago. So, I'm just blessed, and I realize that, and I'm grateful, and I thank God every day that I wake up, but two, that I was able to get through, like you said, that season relatively unscathed. And here we are.
It's
a new day.
MLK Day.
Oh, you mean literally? Okay, yes, yeah. Figuratively and literally, it's a new day.
I mean, every day is a new day. So we don't forget.
Yeah.
What were you doing in your?
So you're segueing. Okay, go ahead.
Season of seclusion while you were in the wilderness.
What do you want me to say?
I mean, what? Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I didn't know if you wanted me to talk about something specific, because I was
just trying to help.
Oh, because what I was going to say was, speaking of a new day, threads.
It's always threads.
It's always
threaded vibes.
Rushed threaded vibes. Well, I mean, it's a big part of our life.
It is.
It's well, maybe not big, but it's a fair part of our life.
A good 20%.
Yeah. And it's afforded us some.
Yes, y'all.
Okay, go ahead.
I finally,
because everybody's seen your profile picture, so they know.
Got my picture on the throne, and it was I didn't have the proper outfit, but it's still, because I had a vision. I was going to do a throne photo shoot, but I'll have to do that the next time I get an opportunity. Just have like a suitcase and be like, we gotta change. Anyway, I got my photo on the throne. I'm just elated that I was able to do that.
How old are you?
Huh?
How old are you? Over here,
I'm a grown woman.
Geeking out because you got a picture on.
I didn't need to meet a celebrity, nothing. I got a picture on the Threads throne, and it's one of my profile pictures.
I'm happy that everything was able to fall into place.
It did.
For you to get your picture on the throne.
And you got yours, I got mine.
I mean, I've been had mine.
But now I got mine. But you know how you got yours? Coming on a work trip with me.
Yeah, but I still had to. I still got in.
I'm just saying,
because I'm
the season. How
I'm
the
mayor
season worked, and I got mine.
I'm your Rush.
On a work trip with me.
Yeah, you got yours because of me.
Coming on a work trip with me.
Yeah, but had you just gone on a work trip, you wouldn't have got in.
Put a hootie hoo out and get my picture.
That's not the way it works.
All right, bet. Yo, the next one, when I'm wearing my gown and heels, I'm gonna get that one on my own.
Good luck getting in.
I got people.
They're gonna be like, David, do you know?
No, I'm Rush's wife.
I have no idea who that is.
I'm Rush's wife.
Anybody can make a social media account and put anything on it these days. This is very easy.
Anyway, say what you're gonna say. Do your little ditty.
Uh,
Not
do
that,
not,
not that ditty. That ditty is a song.
do not, not compare
We have not talked about that.
because we haven't been recording.
That's whose fault is that? You the one who been off for 7 months.
Yours. You the one that got meetings out the ass. Anyways, Threads
Threads.
has changed. It ain't the same no more.
In what way?
It's different.
Speak on it.
I'm not. I mean, it's just it's a fact. It's changed. People have
This year's different. I think the novelty has kind of worn, and I don't know that there's been enough happening to keep the excitement.
Well, excitement's always going to wane. What I was speaking to is that there have been a number of things that have happened.
Factions.
No, there have been a number of things that have happened that have driven certain
Factions.
that have caused people to feel like they need to not be on the app.
Factions. This is World War II, except on social media.
It's really not that big a deal.
We
It's
got
really not.
Germany. Who we got Germany?
We don't. We don't. So, we've only got
issues with these countries.
we've only got 47 minutes, so I'm gonna because I had to clear the memory cards. So I don't really even know where to start. I do know that I don't know if this was the case last time we recorded, but Blue Sky has become more.
You know why I thought Blue Sky was a credit card company? Because I literally had a credit card from a company called Green Sky.
But that's not Blue Sky.
But I thought they were the same. Why would you name your company another color off of a credit card company?
May I continue?
Yeah.
Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate it. One of the things that happened is as when Trump won the nomination.
Allegedly.
I'm sorry, not the nomination. When he won the election,
Allegedly.
a bunch of people left X, formerly known as Twitter. When that happened, a lot of NBA media journalists, they decided to set up shop on Blue Sky because everything that either they had been told or that they experienced firsthand about Threads is that it's not exactly welcoming for journalists because journalists share their work and their works are usually links, and Threads doesn't. They say they don't downrank links, but they say nobody really clicks them, so they just don't push them, which is essentially downranking. So a lot of them set up on Blue Sky because it's very familiar to Twitter and blah, 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 blah. So when that happened, a number of NBA Threads people started posting on Blue Sky more because more of the people who they were used to following and engaging with on Twitter before Elon took over were now on Blue Sky. Mm-hmm. So it went from like 10, I don't know where, it went crazy. Like they were at one point gaining like 1 million users a day. And all the while this is going on, there were a lot of residual issues. Not residual. There were a lot of like legacy problems that a number of power users had with Threads, that they weren't moving fast enough. They weren't iterating fast enough. And once Blue Sky started taking off, it was like, oh, now Meta is taking things seriously. So then they started pushing out certain features that borrowed inspiration from Blue Sky, or as some would say, copying. But that's like Meta's MO. That's what they do. You don't have to be the first. You just have to
do it best,
be bigger, and be perceived to do it better. So, that went on, and, all in all, NBA Threads withstood it fairly well. Some people were splitting time between Threads and Blue Sky, and then some people were still primarily on Threads. Then after the election, like right after, Zuckerberg put out a post congratulating President-elect Trump and saying that he can't wait to work with him. So that turned a lot of people off. And then reports just kept coming out that he was down in Mar-a-Lago, and then they were going to donate $1 million to the inauguration, which isn't uncommon. Like
Corporations do
that. But interestingly enough, none of the big tech giants that are donating to Trump's donated to Biden's, I believe. So then a lot of other people, then again, people were upset. Some people left. And then they changed their content moderation policies, which allowed for certain things that were once blocked, like things that an account could be reported for saying were now eligible basically to be said. And they basically said they're not going to moderate anything. They're going to let the community moderate by way of what are called community notes, which are really popular on Twitter. So if somebody says the sky is green, someone can go and add a community note and say, no, actually the sky is blue, and then add their source, cite their source. Then they said they were going to start showing political content, which they had fought all the way up into and through the election. And then they added Dana White, I believe his name is, the CEO of UCF, Ultimate Fighting UFC, to their board of directors.
Ultimate Fight Club?
I think it was Ultimate Fighting Champ. God damn it. I don't follow UFC, so now I got to look at it.
I didn't know that the letters actually stood for anything. I just thought it was this UFC.
It's mixed martial arts is what it is, but what does it stand for?
So then what's MMA? MMA is mixed martial arts.
Mixed martial arts. Ultimate Fighting Championship.
Oh. Thought it was a club. Like Fight Club.
And people weren't happy about that. So actually at that point, a lot of NBA thought it's just a lot of the original crew. They left. And people even now are talking about winding down their... Because I don't mean, people, they do what they need. You do what you want. Go where you feel safe. Go where you feel like morally, if morals come into play, you can be comfortable contributing to. But the thing that kind of tickles me is like people making a spectacle of the fact that they're not going to use Threads and use another app. It's like, I'll be winding this account down in a week. Okay. You're like, bro, just go.
It's kind of like when people announce that they're like going to unfriend people. It's like, just do it.
Yeah. And then, obviously people can do what they want.
I think there's more element of surprise of just like coming in and being like, we're not friends anymore.
Yeah. It just seems, it's interesting to me that someone would say in a week, I'm going to.
But what I've noticed with social media, when people do those things, they're calling for attention to have a conversation so that they can later be like, well, this place isn't doing what I need it to do, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Instead of just coming out and being like, I'm leaving because A, B, C, and D. I don't know why people aren't just straightforward.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I could see that being a reason. Another reason that somebody may want to say, hey, like putting people on notice, like, hey, in a week, you're not going to see me here. But you could just leave the account up, pin your post or whatever, and then you could delete it after a certain period. Like, I don't know. I mean, people have the reasons, and no one way is the right way. But I know for me, when I stopped using Twitter, I just stopped.
Yeah.
And I don't really think about it. Every once in a while, I'll make a subtle dig or I'll comment on something that's happening on the site or something that Elon's done. For the most part, I've just moved on. Because it doesn't serve, like things that don't serve me, I just put them away, and that's just kind of how I move. But again, I understand my way isn't the best way. It's just the best way for me. But yeah, so people have done that. So it's just been different. There's still a number of people there who I enjoy, who I've met through the love of basketball, and we still engage. Shout out to Dino. We talk pretty much every day now, but it's just lives have just been different, and nothing ever stays the same forever. And I know a lot of people were disappointed that it didn't feel, like you said, it didn't feel as exciting as like the first season. And, that's to be expected as things evolve. People's attachment to those things change. And it just turns out that Zuck being, as they call it, bending the knee or whatever you want to call it, definitely cozying up to Trump was sort of the last straw. And, it is what it is. But I had already committed to, even I think months ago, I had already committed to just, once I bought into the idea of the open social web and the Fediverse, that I was going to be, in a lot of different places. Obviously, Threads is sort of like home base, but, I post on Blue Sky and Mastodon and another app, that Surf, that is now out. Sort of like an aggregator of the open social web, so you can feed all your content into one place and all your friends and conversations. So, I think that's just a reality now for text-based social media. I think there's going to be several apps, and if the Fediverse comes to fruition, you can communicate with people on all those apps from one place. You don't have to be tied to one. You can go and take your community with you. So that's what's been going on. I don't know if you're dialed in because you don't really be.
No, this season hasn't really allowed me to be as active on Threads as I was last year, which is, some days it's disappointing. Just because a lot of my community is the NBA Threads community, but we've built bonds outside of things. So, a lot of, my motherhood posts, it's just Black woman post hit to different. So it's just, sometimes I'll be like in a call and I'll think of a thread. I'm like, I really want to go post this, but I can't because I'm trying to be dialed in. And just like keeping up with the conversation because, I'll post something at 9 a.m., but maybe I won't get back to Threads until
a week later.
A week, or maybe the next day, maybe that evening. And it's like the conversation or the ability to have the conversation is passed. And some people are great about like picking up where you left off, but like when the moment's passed, it can be hard to regenerate that. So it's been, last year was really fun.
Special.
Yeah. And I had the opportunity. So I will be thankful for the fact that at that time, my schedule when Threads launched in comparison to my schedule now permitted me, that ability to be a part of something brand new. And hopefully things will wane. And, I'm sure it's just me prioritizing, compartmentalizing and prioritizing. And right now it's not that Thread's not a priority. It's just there are other things that are more pressing that I need to get done, that I need to not be distracted. And unfortunately, it's a distraction. Now, if they want to cut me a check, then I can probably put more time into it. But
it always comes down to the check.
Money.
Always. So yeah, it's definitely different. A lot of the people who I became closest with, or two, have moved to using Blue Sky primarily. So I try to make it a point to, check in over there, post over there, especially like during games and stuff. But it's not the same. Mm-hmm. It's different. But it is what it is. When I was a kid, like elementary school age, I attached really easily. Like, yo, you sit next to me, like we do the little, used to flick erasers. Like we do that together, like we boys for life. You know what I'm saying? Like I would just make friends just really, really easily. And I would just attach, latch on. Every friend was my new best friend. But, just life. I don't know if it's that stage of life or just life in general. People move. So every time a friend would move, I would find out about it and I would come home and I would just be like so depleted. My mom would always have to console me. She would always tell me like, Dave, it's a part of life. People, they move. And even when they don't move, people move in and out of your seats, mm-hmm. like in and out of your life. That's just life. Of course, I couldn't fully comprehend that as a kid, but it would just devastate me every time I made a friend and they would move. And it seemed just like centering myself. It seemed like it always happened to me. Like nobody else's friends move, just my friends move. Which may honestly, I may have to talk to a therapist about it, but it may be why I don't like make friends now.
You don't like people.
Maybe why I don't like people now is because the people I did like when I was a kid left me. They're like, you can't trust people. So some of that is still in me though. So not that these people aren't accessible to me. Like I can text whoever, I can DM whoever. But it's different not seeing their posts, their thoughts, their funny whatevers, on the timeline. So it was, for a couple of days, once I realized like, okay, this is what's what, it was tough, but no, I'm good. It's just a new reality. Mm-hmm. And it'll be that until there's another new reality. Life is, it's all about rolling with the punches, as things change.
It felt like the Threads conversation
went long.
It went long, and it was very like sobering.
Oh, well, it was a very sober moment.
It was, but I don't know. Maybe it should have been end of episode or start of episode. It was just kind of like.
Well, you want to end on something positive from Threads?
I mean, sure.
I was featured in an article.
You were. I know. I was there.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was.
You weren't. You weren't there for the interview. Yeah. Yeah. So that's a positive Threads thing. It was really cool.
It was. Maybe he'll remember to link it for you to read.
Yeah, I'll link it if anybody wants to read it. But in true NBA Threads fashion, though I was featured, it was really about
the community.
NBA Threads.
The community.
And how it, I was just
one big basketball.
It's just a really awesome place. To be online. It still is. It
has its potential.
It's changing, but I still think it's.
Is it cold in here?
It's a little cold.
I am very cold.
It's a great place to be.
So shifting gears again, because
13 minutes.
I don't know if we just need to make our own separate podcast where we just talk Threads.
No, I mean, I'm sure this will probably be the last one.
No, because the next episode we're going to be like, so Threads. That's 20% of our life. Kids are good. We just ran through birthday season, so we're coming up on the last birthday this week. I would say life is in an interesting place. I think since the last time we recorded, there have been a lot of shifts that we likely won't go into too much detail about, but I think I've learned that it doesn't matter how long something goes on, a shift can happen like that. And things can become very unexpected. So you just always have to have a humble mind, humble heart, humility, for the unexpected.
Yeah. Agreed.
Thanks.
You also need to have a very awesome husband.
And an even awesomer wife.
No. A husband who's willing to make sure that at the end of the day, the most important thing is the happiness of his wife. And that is.
Sure that's you?
It is me. I'm quite certain it's me.
Okay. You were mean for me the other day.
It was me.
I don't know that we can talk about current events. I don't even know what's current, what's not current. A lot's happened.
Trump's being sworn in today.
There's been Diddy. There's been Luigi. There's been J-Lo and Ben got divorced.
Did they actually get divorced?
They did. It went through like last week or the week before.
And
I had thoughts. And then I was like, you know what?
It's not my business.
Not my business, not my problem. And I'm not, it doesn't, It's more so like, dang, they went through a lot of effort. But then I also was like, could you imagine being on the world stage, going through all this, everyone's rooting for you. Like, there's an element of, I don't want to say embarrassment, but probably like disappointment that it didn't work out because I think they actually thought it would work out. And, it just kind of makes you wonder about relationships and what causes them to, what makes you think they're going to work and what makes you not. Like, some people can go their whole lifetime married to one person. Some people, I do think it's beautiful that like Jennifer specifically hasn't given up on the idea of marriage. Like, you can tell, like, the fact that she keeps getting married, that she actually wants to be married. So like, at least, that desire of, union is in her heart. So, but sometimes I empathize or sympathize. I don't empathize. For her, like, to not have that marital success. But like, you watch people's stories and it's like their parents been married 60 years and then they're just like, nah, I got no more. So,
Yeah, I don't
care.
No. I know that's usually I would come in and be like, I'll be real with you. I don't care. No, I think I love being married. It is the single, outside of our children being born, marrying you is the single greatest thing that has ever happened to me because of everything that's happened as a result. So maybe you would roll the kids up under that. And as great as it is, I'll preach it to anybody who's willing to listen how great marriage is. But as great as it is, I think at the end of the day, what I would want for somebody else is just to be happy. And whether that's happy single, happy just dating, happy, I'd like just be happy and don't do harm. So, yes, I think if that's what Jennifer, excuse me, to be married, that's like a really important thing to her. Then yeah, I hope she finds the one that will last. So, I join you in wishing that for her if that's truly what she wants. But if she decides that, you know what? Nah, I'm happy for it. I'm just as happy for her. I think marriage isn't for everyone. Even as amazing as it is, as it's been for me, and as amazing as it will be for me, it's not for everyone. And I think that's. I think it's okay for people to acknowledge that if that's them, because I know there's a lot of societal pressure put on people, especially in certain lifestyles. It's like, you got to get married, you got to find a man, you got to find a woman, need babies. Like, not for everyone. I hate it for them. It really was a feel good story. Mm-hmm. But so it goes.
I'm sure it's going to end up being a rom-com.
Are you sure it's not already like some rom-com already? Like, maybe not based on them, but it's not it's unique for them, but
it's not a unique concept.
Yeah.
Conceptually. Yeah, I'm sure
dated, went apart, got back together, got married, and then
got divorced with
had to get married. No, they actually got married, right?
They got married?
Yeah, they got married.
No prenup. Did a couple Dunkin' Donuts commercials and got divorced.
All right, 7 minutes. What we got?
7 minutes. This is a lot of pressure. This is why we need a mood board.
We will reintroduce the mood board.
The mood board, and you can sit right there.
We'll reintroduce it. We'll reintroduce it. I'm thinking I'm gonna cut some of the thread stuff.
Too long.
Specifically the list. It felt right.
Okay.
And it feels like bringing up
old stuff.
Settled stuff. And it feels a little gossipy.
Messy.
Yeah. And I was told I can't be messy. I have to be Mr. Mr. Positivity is my brand.
Okay, so if you
that's my brand, Mr. Positivity.
At this point, there's a portion that's probably been cut out that you're like, what are they talking about? It's gone. It's above us now. Maybe in like blooper reels down the line, we'll post
Talk to us privately and we'll tell you what it was about.
We kind of touched on TikTok. It was banned. It came back.
Free CapCut.
Was that not added back?
No.
Oh.
That's why I said free CapCut.
It's Martin Luther King Day, January 20th, 2025. Also, first annual Michelle Obama Peace Protection Day. I stand with Michelle.
I stand. I get it.
Or sit or lay.
Yeah,
she's probably laying comfortably somewhere.
I get it.
Which I support. Everyone has a lot of news outlets have made a big deal about this, not acknowledging the fact that this guy who's allegedly president now did the same thing.
It's not alleged anymore.
Did the same thing to Biden when he was being inaugurated. He didn't show up.
You can say it. He won.
He didn't show up to Biden's inauguration, and there was very minimal fuss. So
this is what I need. This is what I need to happen. I need us to stop
setting expectations.
I need people to stop doing that because it's never going to be the way that it should be. So she's going to get flack. It's fine.
Why did they announce it though? Like, why didn't they just let her not show up?
It probably got leaked. Like I don't know.
Said her team released a statement, and
they probably wanted to let her know. No, I'm not what old.
I would have just not shown up, and then people, she's not there, or maybe they wouldn't have noticed.
But it's never going to be
sensible because
it's like they're all like especially as it relates to Trump. Like people are like, oh, we should it's just not how it is. So don't harp on it. Just Michelle's not coming. I get it. News outlets are going to say what they're going to say because there's always different standards for different people. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is. What we don't have to do is acknowledge those different standards. Michelle don't feel like going, so she ain't going, and I rock with it.
I do too. I support it.
4 minutes.
So, I don't know when the next time y'all are going to see us.
With that, I think we're going to move to bi-weekly. So twice a month we'll release.
So I don't know when the next time y'all are going to see.
Do you not want to do that? Because I feel like week to week would be too much.
I don't trust us, and I feel like with our new schedule,
twice a week, because I'm doing another podcast now, which is also, so if we do it in between those, I'll do a podcast every week, but that gives us time to make sure that we can commit a day. We've got our living circumstances are different now, so we may have someone who can occupy our children.
Where?
Not here. Drive around for an hour for all I care. Like I don't.
Get some candy money. Go get some ice cream. That's it.
Yeah. So, I think we'll move to a bi-weekly format.
I think we need a simpler setup.
Do you want to get rid of the middle camera?
No, I just feel like we'll take this offline.
So we won't talk about it. It's been a minute, but obviously if you're watching this, we're on YouTube. You can subscribe Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube Music now, which is where Google's housing its podcasts. And we just really thank everybody who's going to watch this. Obviously, we've been really inconsistent here lately. I'd say this past year and a half. This is something that, we're still relatively committed to. We just haven't quite figured out the schedule with all the other things that are going on in our lives. But when we do put out, we do appreciate everyone who watches, listens, reacts, and engages. It means the world. I was having a conversation with Mike and Marcy, and I said, people can give me compliments, they can compliment my wife, they compliment my kids, and it makes me feel so warm. I said, but when someone tells me they've watched our podcast, that is the greatest compliment in the world to me. Because it's like one of the, other than our kids, it's like the one thing that we've done together consistently over the course of 5 years at this point. So, thank you to everyone who's supported and watched. We will be more frequent than we've been. So
we'll be better.
Happy New Year. Hope you had a great holiday season. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Peace.
Nothing but some growing pains. Yeah. Hey, hey. I done came way too far, can't stop me now. I done came way too far, can't stop me now. I done came way too far, can't stop me now. I done came way too far, can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. Yeah, I done came